Hi everybody, Mike Wade here, and I want to say thank you and welcome aboard to Today You Start. I hope you got something out of 401k, the great American scam. Again, I'm providing you with my opinions and ideas, but I hope by putting numbers into the program that you actually see the light. That all this talk of averages and stuff really doesn't count. It's the losses that kill you. And the fact that these 401k plans will not get you where you need to go. They were never designed to be your entire retirement plan. They were a supplement to plans back in the days of pensions, which don't exist. Okay? The problem is most Americans feel they have no options because you may not have $1,000 sitting around or $2,000 sitting around to go invest or $100,000 sitting around to invest where the big boys invest. And that's why it's going to be beneficial for you to belong to this club. You'll understand that after lesson 12. As a group we come together, we can do a lot more together. We can get into the game. Look, the bottom line is, in the next lesson I'm going to show you how to fix these problems, this 401k problem you have, and also why I strongly believe the markets are not going to do any better in the coming decades. It's going to be a flat market and you're just wasting your time. If you want to talk about averages, you just saw that they can sit there and tell you what these averages are and they just don't make sense. They don't hold true. Nothing works on averages. But if you want to talk about averages, look what the average of inflation has been, about 3.23%. So you need to get a return of 3.23% every single year at least, just to have your dollar equal $1 down the road when you're ready to liquidate it. Okay? And you're not getting that. And in fact, I believe inflation is going to go up higher because the government's printing money so quickly and rapidly. Look, I saw a post on a forum today. Some guy was excited because their 401k administrator was talking to a group that was going to guarantee 1.95% returns. Great. That eliminates the losses, and we all know it's the losses that kill you. However, you have to sacrifice the upside of those plans. You can do that on your own with LEAPs, which are long-term options. You can do that on your own with all kinds of strategies. The bottom line is if you're going to be in these 401k plans, see if your administrator offers the TIPS, which are treasuries with inflation protection. Now remember, this inflation protection is based on what the government tells you inflation is, not what true inflation is, but it's better than nothing. Now, I understand one of the appealing things to a 401k plan is the employer match, if you receive an employer match, and that cannot be disputed. However, it's not as good as you think it is. You're going to learn that in the next lesson. Yeah, it's free money, and you don't want to turn down free money. But over the long scheme, over the long term, it really doesn't add up to much more. All it really does is take care of your fees, and you'll see that in the next lesson. The bottom line is if you can get outside of these 401k plans and get 8, 9, 10, 12% returns, even without the employer match, you will be better off. Again, you'll see that in later lessons. I know you feel trapped. I know you think this is your only alternative. I know many of you like real estate, and we'll talk about real estate as we go forward. But many of you don't think you have the credit or the money to get into real estate. There's all kinds of real estate options, folks. All kinds. And you do have to have some real estate in your portfolio. You need hard assets. The bottom line is you're sitting there accumulating assets. In a 401k especially, you're accumulating assets because you bought into this retirement planning idea, which is flawed to its core. You're accumulating assets that eventually you're going to have to liquidate to turn into cash flow. I need you to start focusing on cash flow today. Cash flow is king, and that's what it's all about. So we're going to focus on freedom planning, not retirement planning. There's nothing worse than someone's 40, 45, 50, 55 years old, counting down the days until they can retire. That's not enjoying life, folks. You know, you want to get to the point where you never want to retire. You want to continue on as long as you can go. And we're living longer. There's no question you're going to be in retirement if you retire on schedule like we're taught to do, that you could live 20, 25, 30 more years and have to live off of these so-called assets you've accumulated, such as your house, where all these financial gurus and pundits sit around saying that the biggest investment most Americans make is their home, when your home is not an asset, it's a liability, which you're going to learn in later lessons. Your home will never produce cash flow. It can eliminate some outgo, but it'll never produce cash flow. And that's what all this is about. So as you go forward, I need you to watch the lessons. They're in a particular order for a reason. So when I email you every 5 days or so, get prepared, sit down, and watch the lesson. The next lesson, we're going to talk about 401k arbitrage, how we can increase your 401k plan, 403b, whatever type of plan you may have, up to $50,000 or more without contributing more money. I'm also going to show you several reasons why I believe the market's going to remain flat for decades to come. And it's not where you're going to want to be putting your money, which unfortunately, that's your choices when you're in a 401k plan. Unless you own your own business and have your own 401k Roth plan, which we'll talk about later too. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a little prologue here. I wanted to say welcome aboard. Please take these lessons seriously. I think outside the box. I am a free thinker. You will find that I do not regurgitate all that stuff that's been spread, all the propaganda that's been spread throughout the decades and generations, because it's not working for the majority of Americans. And you'll see that as we progress. There's a lot of people out there with the illusion of wealth that aren't as wealthy as they think, let alone as wealthy as you think. I can get you there. I can get all of you there if you take this serious, take some advice, and go forward. You will come to understand why belonging to this club is probably the best decision you made, because I'm going to get you into the game. I'm going to allow you more options than 401k plans. You're going to be able to invest where the big boys invest, because as a group, you're stronger. After all, that's the premise of mutual funds. Because a group of people with little amounts of money come together so they can have more purchasing power. The problem is it's still in the markets. Anyway, once again, I want to welcome you aboard. I look forward to helping you out. Please engage with me. Comment below every section. Let me know what you're thinking. Reach out to me anytime you'd like. I look forward to helping you get to where you want to be. Not where you need to be, where you want to be. I want you to get this retirement planning notion out of your mind and start thinking about freedom planning. It's a totally different mindset. One that will free you up, will lift a weight off your shoulder. This idea of retirement planning and what you have to do now to prepare for the future is just a heavy burden on your shoulders that can cause a lot of restless nights. So, I'll see you in the next lesson. Look for my email in about 5 days. We're going to talk about 401k arbitrage, why I think the markets are going to remain flat, and then we'll just continue forward. Again, welcome aboard, and let's have some fun. I'll talk to you in about 5 days. Bye-bye.